do our one thing. Together millions of things for our planet. After Halloween this year, don't throw out your jack-o'-lantern. Use it to start composting instead. Pumpkins and other gourds are perfect additions to any compost pile. You can also add soil and roots from dead potted plants. And if you have a garden, be sure to add garden waste from cleaning and pruning, like stems, roots, and leaves. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco. An Odyssey station.
Good morning!
It's time to wake up. It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
Man, how about them San Francisco 49ers? My goodness. Welcome in. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the Pregame Show. I'm your host, Joe Spadoni. And what we witnessed last night at Levi's Stadium, Santa Clara, California, Sunday Night Football, as Jerry Rice said, statement night to the morning roast on Friday. And that was a statement. That was Kyle Shanahan. That was Brock Purdy. That was Fred Warner. That was the entire San Francisco 49ers team putting the league on notice to tell them that they are the best team in the league, top to bottom, and that no one can stop them at any single position. Micah Parsons, night-night. Dak Prescott, night-night. 42-10. The 49ers improved to 5-0. Brock Purdy, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks. George Kittle, 3 touchdowns. Fred Warner, forced fumble, sack. DPOY? Purdy MVP? The 49ers are stacked. And that was just an ass-kicking. It was. That was a complete and utter ass-kicking, what I witnessed last night. Dak Prescott's calling it the most humbling loss of his career. His career. And he's a Cowboy. All they've taken are humble losses his entire tenure. So for that to be the most humbling and probably the worst, outside of all the playoff games, that's saying something. So 888-957-9570. That's the number to get involved. Call or text on the Comcast Business text line. Also hit us up on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Good morning to all my lovely people out there streaming. I appreciate you. Ring that bell. Not the Ronnie bell, but the YouTube bell. Like, subscribe, all that. And also be sure to download the Odyssey app. You can take us wherever you need to go, all across this lovely, lovely nation that is now hopefully realizing that the Niners are the team to beat. It's not the Philadelphia Eagles. It's not the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not the Miami Dolphins or the Detroit Lions. Although Shanny took a play from Ben Johnson earlier there. Although it's kind of weird, everyone's saying, they stole a play from the Lions. Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator for Detroit. It's like, it's a double reverse pass on a wheel route. I think that's been done before. But the Niners put everyone on notice last night. And when we last talked on last Friday, I said these two teams aren't close. I said the Niners should have been at least a touchdown favorite. And they proved that and then some. 32-point drubbing. But it wasn't close to me. The Trevon Diggs injury, when we're talking about the fine line between what separates, the true Super Bowl contenders from pretenders. A segment we did last year. We'll bring it back. I'd like to bring that back around halfway through the season. But That's a massive injury. He was kind of the heart and soul of that defense. Now, Micah Parsons, he's really good. A DPOY candidate. But Diggs is the one that gets the big plays. He's the one that takes the risks, takes the chances in that secondary. Gilmore, very good player, potentially a future Hall of Famer. Very, very good. Old. I saw a team that was young, fresh, fast, more physical. Dre Greenlaw setting the tone early with a body slam on the sideline. I'm shocked that wasn't called for roughing or unnecessary roughness, I should say. Who cares, though? It's not called. You're going to take that. And that set the tone again. The defense setting the tone, laying the wood. Dak holding. And getting sacked. Nick Bosa making his presence felt early. So we checked all the boxes, right? From Friday. Oh, man. Kittle's been quiet. 3 touchdowns. Bosa. I don't know. Sack on what? The third play for the Dallas Cowboys, 3 and out. It's what they do. It's going to be one week, the Debo game, or the Ayuk, or the Kittle. Another week, it's going to be the Bosa, or the Warner, or both, or a Hufanga game. It just speaks to the depth of the San Francisco 49ers team, which I think is unmatched around the league. They go out, by the way, and get Randy Gregory. Are you kidding me? For basically nothing? A 7th round pick, 6th round. What? Now he has 2 first names, and as you all know on the pregame show, Bob Spadoni, the patriarch of the morning roast. Can't trust a man with 2 first names, as he always said, but you know what? I'm willing to give him a second chance. And for whatever reason, he just couldn't get it done after getting paid in Denver. Had success with the Dallas Cowboys, and on this team, hey, if you're getting me a sack or a tackle for loss at least once a game, every other game, once a game's a lot, but every other game, yeah, it was worth it. The depth, again. And I'm sure that's not the only trick up Shanny and Lynch's sleeve. 888-957-9570. Let's start this thing off, though, on the tone setter from this past Week 5 win. Brock Purdy, just picking up where he left off. Another touchdown.
From the 19-5 to the pattern for Purdy, who escapes and fires end zone. Touchdown, Kittle! First of the year for George Kittle, a perfect opening drive.
A perfect opening drive indeed. Just clinical. Slicing and dicing. And, throughout the day, the major difference to me as well was the attention to detail. And that's what we were talking about last Friday. Not beating yourself. The Cowboys took themselves out of this game early with some boneheaded penalties. Unnecessary roughness, taunting, offsides, just dumb thing. I thought the Debo, was called an incomplete pass. I thought they would have reviewed that, and I think that was a turnover. But it didn't matter because the Cowboys were offsides. Plays like that, when you're going up against a team as deep as the San Francisco 49ers and you're on the road, you can't do that. You just can't. Because it's going to bite you in the ass later on. And it did. Here's another one.
And Pollard, good job by Pollard to find some space. Lost the football. Was it in bounds? Or did it go out of bounds? It is recovered on the sideline by Dallas by Kevin Givens. Let me see if anybody was touching the football when they were out of bounds as it was coming. Fred Warner, the stud on defense, knocked it free.
Mike Tirico on the call, by the way, NBC Sports. And it was funny after the game, and I'll find the sound. I was walking into the building today, and I guess a Niner fan and a Cowboy fan, they were dating, and the Niner fan proposed after the game, and Tirico did his best, Collinsworth. Now, there's a guy who's getting married. Well done, Mike. They're so good. They're so damn good. Even with all the aerial shots and all the people getting upset. That's not... They're playing in Santa Clara. You're showing action shots in San Francisco. Who cares? God. The New York Jets and Giants playing freaking New Jersey. What are they showing? Showing the Empire State Building. Relax, people. You know who's not going to relax after I played that Fred Warner Jr. Forced fumble? Fred. Because it's another sack as well.
Motion, Cowboys seeking the game's first down for Dallas. Dak has to pump. Pumps again. Trying to get away. Not getting away from Fred Warner. Back-to-back big plays by Warner. End series for the Cowboys.
Fred Warner, 8 total tackles, 5 solo, a sack, tackle for loss. Already saw the peanut punch fumble. Or you heard it, I should say. And in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. Absolutely. I mean, it's early. We're 5 weeks in. 49ers are 5-0, but Fred Warner is the heart and soul of that defense. He sets the tone physically, with the edge, with the coverage. My guy was out there running with Brandon Cooks 30 to 40 yards down the field. Brandon Cooks, one of the fastest guys in the league. Didn't matter, by the way, with the speed. Other than that Turpin touchdown, didn't matter. I mean, Dak was punch drunk. He was getting flashbacks of the playoffs last season. It just was an absolute beatdown yesterday. The Cowboys, I said going into it, I'm saying it coming out, they are not in the same class as the San Francisco 49ers or the Philadelphia Eagles. They're a good tier below. That's a large tier. Here's Kyle Shanahan after the game talking about that being the most complete game they have had.
I mean, I thought that was our best complete game with all 3 phases. And I thought our defense was amazing today, going against some real good players and a good offense there. And I knew that was going to be a challenge, and those guys were unbelievable. I thought it was their best game yet.
More from Kyle Shanahan on where he ranks this performance.
He was really good. Everybody was pretty good, but thought he missed one throw throughout the day from what it seemed like. Just a little behind BA in the first quarter on one, and everything else seemed pretty flawless. He did a great job. There's a real good pass rush, some tight coverages. Guys gave him some time, and also the guys made a lot of plays too.
Brock Purdy, that is. It's right up there. I mean, it's just what he does. And Brock Purdy right now, believe it or not, and it's pretty wild, Mr. Irrelevant, but if you've been watching all season, he's the MVP right now. Brock Purdy is your MVP. And if we go the latest odds, let's do it. That's what we like to do here on the pregame show, 888-957-9570. NFL MVP. I got to believe he's right up there. As we pull it up right now. 5th. He's right there. It's Mahomes, Tua, Hurts, Allen, Brock Purdy. That's via Bet365. And I'm sure once it's updated even more, going on into this week, you're going to see him creep even more high. And trust me, if they stay undefeated, he is winning the MVP. McCaffrey, he's a good, plus 1,000 less. Plus 1,800 right now. It's Brock Purdy. It's Purdy Mania. Lock Purdy. Block Purdy. Whatever pun you want to use, I'll allow it today. Guy's unreal. What can you say? He makes it look easy. That's the most crazy part about all of this, is how easy he makes it look. The pressure doesn't faze him. Now, at times when they were getting pressure on him and he gets hit, throw some high balls here and there. But even when he's missing, it's not egregious. It's not with Jimmy Garoppolo, right? When he would get hit, and then he'd be like, oh my God, the oh no throws. Now, he gets away with some. He does. But the good outweighs the bad tremendously. And the good has just been there all season. He hasn't lost a regular season game. How nuts is that? It does feel like Shanahan's finally found his perfect quarterback. It does. Like, this is the guy he's been searching for all along. He had that tremendous year with Matt Ryan and the MVP. But Purdy, even he does something Matt Ryan can't. The improv. The athleticism. Ryan never had that. Maybe early in his career, even then, not really. Statuesque guy. And Matt Ryan, when the numbers are all said and done, he might be a borderline MVP or a borderline Hall of Fame. Won an MVP. But Brock Purdy, yeah, he should be the leader in the clubhouse right now when it comes to that award. Here's the man himself talking about if this, offense or any offense has ever clicked this much for him.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever felt, like feeling this good just with the offense and everything as a whole. I can't really think of a time. There's some good games, he played back-to-back games in college. But, right now, yeah, it feels like everyone's just on a mission, man. Like the mindset is right where it needs to. Everyone's so detailed in what they do. Play calls are great. So it's like all I got to do is go out there, do my job, and that's it, and just play ball. So obviously we feel good where we're at, but there's still areas we can still get better at. So
still areas we can get better at? I mean, that's just being nice, but that's how attention to detail oriented this team is. They're constantly looking, down the road. They're not worried about, the Dallas Cowboys matchup. No, it's just another game for them. And when I say they're constantly looking down the road, I mean the Lombardi. They're looking at Las Vegas. That's the ultimate goal for this team. Get home field, win at Levi's, go to Vegas, hoist that Lombardi right up Mark Davis's face. Yes, I've become spiteful. Raiders-Packers tonight, by the way. Oh, boy. Going from that beatdown at Levi's to a potential other beatdown in Las Vegas, although we'll see with the Packers. Jordan Love's stinker last time he played against the Detroit Lions on Thursday Night Football. Seems like forever ago. By the way, the Detroit Lions, believe it or not, they're like one of the teams that may be, looking at the 49ers like, hey, that's a team we might have to play. The Detroit Lions, people. Because I'm looking around the NFC, it's the 49ers, it's the Philadelphia Eagles, both of which are undefeated still. Eagles getting the dub yesterday against the Los Angeles Rams. Tight game throughout, but Eagles pull away late. Jalen Hurts ran very well yesterday. The tush push, the brotherly shove, undefeated still. It ain't stopping. And it feels like we're on a collision course for December 3rd. Eagles-Niners. I hope both those teams are undefeated still. As I look for the Niners in their schedule, it's, I'm trying to find a loss, and one might come when you least expect it. Like they're playing the Browns this upcoming week in Cleveland. This could be a letdown game. If Deshaun Watson's playing, right? Could be a letdown. They're coming off a bye. 49ers-Vikings. Vikings might be desperate on Monday night, although if Justin Jefferson's not playing, he has a hamstring injury yesterday. God, I hate turf. A lot of injuries yesterday. A lot. And that's another thing that come out of yesterday's game, although Shanahan spoke afterwards real quick, talking about a potential arm injury to Aaron Banks. Here's what he had to say.
Injuries was just Banks with bicep.
Thought right now on the significance?
We don't know yet. Fortunately, it was a higher one. The low ones are the ones you missed the year for, but we don't know if it was strained or pulled yet. So, but it was higher.
So we shall see. Potential arm injury to Aaron Banks. We'll get more of that on the media conference call with Kyle Shanahan and as the week goes on. But that's basically all that's standing in their way. Health. And that's been an Achilles heel for Shanahan-led teams in the past. So can they stay healthy? That's why getting guys like Randy Gregory, addressing the depth of this team as the season goes on, will be massive. Because you have the depth to absorb it. Now, Aaron Banks, offensive line, a premium type of position there, obviously. But Shanahan, if it had to be an injury, you'd want it to be the offensive line. This guy mixes and matches wheels and deals better than anyone. If I had to have a head coach or a group of coaches coaching one position, give me Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers coaching of that offensive line. They just dominate. Dominant. Micah Parsons, what did he do yesterday? Nothing. And wasn't that the, position group we were circling heading into this game? What were the storylines? Parsons, Bosa, right? McCaffrey, Pollard, Shanahan, McCarthy. Well, The 49ers dominated each one of those matchups. Dominated. Purdy, Dak. And really, the most clear was Shanahan-McCarthy. Like, you can't tell me, and I know Mike McCarthy's won a Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan's so much better of a coach. It's not even close. Kyle Shanahan's on the same par with the Andy Reids of the world, the Sean McVays, right? Sirianni, if you want to toss him in that group right now. He looks down to no one. Right? He doesn't look up to anyone. It's just, he is coach of the year right now as well. So I've got the defensive player of the year candidate. I think TJ Watt's probably still it. He had a monstrous game yesterday, called game against Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. By the way, yeah, that Pittsburgh Steelers team who dominated week 1 San Francisco, they're first in their division. Now I don't know how long that's going to last. AFC North's a bloodbath. Bengals get a huge win against the Arizona Cardinals. NFL in football in general is undefeated, by the way. The amount of storylines taking place yesterday, the amount of games going down to the wire. And Saturday was really a primer for all that. And I'm sorry, Sam Lubman. The Miami game against Georgia Tech, USC, Arizona. It was just a banner weekend for the sport of football. It really was. And it was all capped off by the San Francisco 49ers dominating the Dallas Cowboys last night at Levi Stadium. Hey, Fred Warner, you think you can win the DPOY this year?
I mean, if they put me in that conversation, great. You know, to me, I know what I have to contribute to this team. I know the caliber of player I am. I don't need anybody else's, recognition or people to tell me how great I am. I want to be the best person I can be, best player I can be for my teammates and for this team. You know, we know what we have ahead of us and the goals that we've set out for ourselves. All that other stuff take care of itself when you're just doing things the right way, day in and day out. You know, I'm just really grateful and for this moment, seriously.
Fred Warner, once again, 8 tackles, 5 solos, sack, tackle for loss, the peanut punch, forced fumble. Guys just been balling. The QB hitting there. And it felt like, even after the first drive, and you saw the Cowboys stall early, they were hanging around, but it felt like the 49ers were toying with their food for most of that first half. And ultimately they were, because it was a blowout. I had hit the pause button last night on the game. Cupcakes, other stuff we had to do, family-oriented on a Sunday night. I felt no worries about that game, and lo and behold, I click back on, watching the game, fast-forwarding through the commercials, and all of a sudden, this team's up 30 points. It was just complete and utter domination. And that's all the 49ers have done all season. Can they get a close game? I don't know, Niner fans are saying, no, I don't want that. But it's pretty incredible. And again, I'm looking at the schedule right now. The Browns might be a close one. They have a good defense. Deshaun Watson, though, has not been playing well. They're coming off a bye, so maybe there'll be more attention to detail there. No Nick Chubb, massive. They got Kareem Hunt, can cause problems. Vikings, I don't see it there. Bengals, that'll be fun. Bengals played well yesterday, but they haven't looked right all year. Joe Burrow doesn't look healthy. And if he's not mobile, he's going to get pummeled against Bosa, Hargrave, and co. Jaguars, impressive win. Another one in London for them. Buccaneers, Seahawks, And then you're just looking down until you get, again, to the Philadelphia Eagles, December 3rd. That's going to be the game that decides home field advantage. Saying it now. Locking it in. Winner of that game is going to get the number 1 seed. It's so funny. I'm looking at, what is this, the Carton Show right now, FS1. It's on the TV in here. And it's saying, are we sleeping on the Philadelphia Eagles? How can you sleep on a team that was just in the Super Bowl and is undefeated? What are you talking about? I think we're sleeping on the San Francisco 49ers as a national media. Are we not? Like, come on. They're the best team in football. It's not even close right now. And I have tremendous respect for the Kansas City Chiefs, for the Buffalo Bills, who lost yesterday. But the Bills aren't on the Niners level. They're not. It's the Eagles in the Niners. And if you want to toss the Chiefs in there, that's fine. And if you're really high on the Lions, okay, I can listen. Lions don't have that defense, although they are young, they're fast. I would not want to play them, like, just because I think the Niners would win, but might take a pound of flesh in the playoffs. But the Niners are going to every single game looking like, hey, we could beat these teams by double digits. Come on. That includes Mahomes. Even though he feels like he's been the kryptonite for the San Francisco 49ers, never lost to him. That includes him. And we've seen it in the past. Mahomes can lose, although I think he's only, lost once in the playoffs. Every other time he's been to a Super Bowl or an AFC championship. It's pretty nuts. Or what is it? He's never not been to an AFC championship. Is that it? It's just unreal. It's absolutely unreal. 888-957-9570. I want to hear from the 49er faithful. Call or text 888-957-9570. You fired up about that win? Who was the most impressive yesterday? Purdy, Warner, McCaffrey, Kittle 3 touchdowns. Was it just a total team domination? Because that's what it was. Game ball doesn't matter. Give the game ball to the head coach if you want. I know game balls only go to players. My God, this team is just night and day better than the Dallas freaking Cowboys. Where's my drop? Where's my guy from the morning roast? We're going to be near. Bonte's going to be playing it all day, by the way. I know he is. Where's it at? It's right here.
I fucking hate when they say, how about them Cowboys? It's like, shut the up with that stupid.
Thank you. Big pun, right? Oh, I'm sure Bonte and Joe Shasky here in about, 35 minutes when the morning roast kicks off. They're going to be playing that nonstop. I want to hear from you nonstop on the other side as the pregame show rolls on. 49ers 42, Dallas Cowboys 10. How about them, San Francisco 49ers?
I fucking hate when they say, how about them Cowboys? It's like, shut the up with that stupid.
Can't sleep with this cold.
Honey.
Honey?
Honey, you need NyQuil Severe Honey.
NyQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a dreamy honey taste.
You know, the initials of this track, BP. Big Pimpin'. I think that's synonymous with the other BP last night. Brock Purdy. No, not British Petroleum, you smartass. I think this is the song. First song every Monday now. Big Pimpin' Brock Purdy. That's all he's doing is stunting. It's the pregame show, Joe Spadoni. Glad you're joining me here at 5:32 a.m. on a Monday for just getting off work, getting ready for work. It's a holiday for some, so enjoy your day. If you're up this early on a holiday, well, you just wanted to hear about your Niners, and I'm with that. Hey, when your team wins in football and the next day's a holiday and you still got live and local radio all day, oh, it's the best. And we are live and local all day today here. It is a Monster Monday brought to you by First 5 California. Visit first5california.com to learn 4 things that you could do to overcome toxic stress. One of those things would not be a Dallas Cowboys fan, because all you know is heartache the last 30 years. Sorry, 28? Is it what, 95? That was an ass kicking last night. That was a team, and that was a quarterback telling the entire league, yeah, we're the best team in football. We're playing the best. We're the most deep. We have the most skill. And Mr. Irrelevant is going to come like Shang Tsung and snatch your soul. Where is it? There it is.
Your soul is mine.
Thank you. That's what Fred Warner did yesterday to Dak Prescott.
Your soul is mine.
That's what Nick Bosa did.
Your soul is mine.
And that's what Kyle Shanahan did to Mike McCarthy.
Your soul is mine.
Thank you. Mortal Kombat, undefeated. From the Comcast Business Text line, what's his face from the Ringer going to rank Dak above Brock again? 415. Funny you say that, 415. I have that sound.
I'm sorry. I watched the film and he's not doing anything. He's running the offense well. And I get the argument that, he's a good quarterback for this system and he's the right quarterback for this system. And then I get yelled at when I rank him 25th. Here's my thing. I'm ranking these quarterbacks not based on their suitability for the Kyle Shanahan system. I'm ranking them based on what they would do in a normal offense, like a league average offense. And if we put Brock Purdy in the league average offense, this game isn't going to lead to top of the league results. The play that made me lose my mind this week was he threw a pass downfield to Brandon Ayuk over the middle of the field.
That's enough of you, Stephen Ruiz of the Ringer. It's enough. I can't wait for this one, though.
The game is, can the 49ers win the Super Bowl like this?
They
and
can't.
You think they can't?
No.
I think
just
they can.
goes against. If they do, I'm done. I'm not covering the sport again. If they win it with Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, sure, I can get on board with Sam Darnold. Not Brock Purdy.
Now I gotta go.
When does that crack come into play for you?
Hi, hater. Hi, hater.
The Henny's undefeated.
Thank you. Stephen Ruiz apparently looking for another field to cover. It's not looking good for him. It's not. Good morning, Nicole. Good morning, Morali. Good morning, Luis Robertson. Cowboy. Is it the Cowboy? Not from yesterday. Jason Mishler. Usmops. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Another 30-point game. Beautifully done. What a game. That went well. That's from M. Patel. Morali. Brock Purdy, not Brick Purdy, has the highest point per play in the NFL. Second is Josh Allen, which is a massive difference. Wow. Brock Purdy, sounds like he's an MVP. Oh my goodness. That can't happen. He doesn't look like a normal quarterback. He's only 6 feet tall. He was the last pick of the draft. That's not allowed to happen. He can't win the MVP. Man. Kurt Warner. Tom Brady. It could be done. Oh, don't compare him to that. Well, when he keeps doing these things, and the records he does and the undefeated record that he has, and that's all they do is win, win, win no matter what, yes, you're going to start seeing his name with Kurt Warner and Tom Brady because those are the most recent examples of this. An offense being that good and a quarterback just coming out of nowhere. I'm starting to think, and maybe that Rams team was way more just out of nowhere because they dominated everyone, but it is starting to feel like the greatest show on turf season. Like no one was beating that team. And I know it went down to the wire against the Titans. Rams had control for most of it. But the Rams dominated that season. And it just looked like they were a step ahead of everyone. And it was almost kind of, I don't want to say boring, but it was just clinical. Like you watch it. Efficient, sharp, smooth, whatever adjective you want to use that just describes detail-orientedness. That's what it was for the San Francisco 49ers last night and this season. Here's more from Kyle Shanahan, head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, after the game, talking about that double reverse pass that I'll play right after this.
We just walked through it once. It's been in for a while. We ran in the NFC Championship last year. Didn't look as good. Christian was at quarterback. That was second half. Detroit ran it earlier in the day. They scored to Laporte on it. So something we've had in for a little bit. We just walk through it throughout the weeks. Every week and keep it up for when we need to call it.
Did you see the Detroit?
Yeah, I saw it before the game.
Did that kind of encourage you to call it?
It was based off what we were going against today. We planned on calling it, but it definitely, seeing it work for someone else gives you more confidence.
Something about those Iowa tight ends. George Kittle touchdown, Sam Laporta, baby. I may or may not have him in multiple fantasy squads. And those of you that actually hung on and started George Kittle last night are like, thank God. Probably won you a lot of your leagues. So be grateful for that George Kittle performance. But I understand if you're not starting Brock Purdy or Christian McCaffrey, it's kind of pick your poison because there's just so many different players that could go off on this team on a given week, whether it's Ayuk, whether it's Debo, whether it's George Kittle. That's why I'm looking around the NFL. And if you don't have a defense that's physical enough or fast enough to keep up with the San Francisco 49ers offense, you're done. Because I know the 49ers will score. That's all they've been doing. 30 a game. 30 for Purdy. Put it on a shirt. 957thegamemerch.com shop thing. I butchered that, but you know what I'm talking about. Make that. Here's the play that Kyle Shanahan was referring to, the double reverse pass that didn't work in the NFC Championship game, but worked yesterday for Detroit, who got the dub, and the San Francisco 49ers.
Dazzle. Purdy. Coming out, Kittle. In empty space. Kittle, number 2. Touchdown, San Francisco. No touchdowns the first 4 games. 2 touchdowns the first 2 quarters tonight for George Kittle.
I'm probably not the only one when I watch the San Francisco 49ers, and specifically Kyle Shanahan. And it happens occasionally, like Sirianni or, McVay, Andy Reid. Andy Reid has Patrick Mahomes, so it's a little different. But as, an unbiased observer, I'm not a 49ers fan. I cover the team. When they win, it's good business here. But I just get so jealous watching that offense. Like, you wish your team had that offense, that play calling capability, that weaponry, that killer instinct that seems to be found now with Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan. Wasn't always there. Brock Purdy is the key that unlocked this 49ers offense. It's becoming clear as day with every single dominant performance that he has. It's becoming more and more clear that Brock Purdy was the missing link all along. And I know it's hard for a lot of us to wrap our heads around in the national media, but Brock Purdy was the missing link. Not Trey Lance, not Jimmy Garoppolo, not Nick Mullins, not CJ Beathard, not Brian Hoyer, not Sam Darnold. Brock Purdy. We got one more segment coming up, 888-957-9570. You can call, you can text, You can hit us up on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. 49ers 42, Dallas Cowboys 10. We wrap it up on the other side. 95.7 The Game.
Here's a message for Bay Area architects and designers. If you're about to start a remodel or design project with one of your clients, be sure to visit Golden State Window and Door Design. They work with a number of manufacturers, including Marvin for Windows, that offer outstanding quality.
presentations. Go to sfhistory.org and discover the San Francisco Historical Society, giving our history a great future. Become a member today.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. 49ers, 40 deuce. Cowboys, 10. Brock Purdy, yes, no biggie. 4 touchdowns, 250 yards passing. 83.6 QBR. Passer rating of 144.4. Decent. Another Sam Darnold, game's over with. Bring in the backups. Kind of a game. Is anyone shocked now? I wasn't. Start believing what you're seeing, people. What is that, the Santa Claus with Tim Allen? Seeing is believing. Believing is seeing. Well, I believe it. I believe in Brock Purdy, like a Harvey Dent. I believe in him. I believe that he will be in the MVP conversation and might just be the MVP of the league when the season's over. Because how could you not feel like that? Look what this guy's doing. 1,271 yards, 9 touchdowns, 0 picks. His QBR's first in the league. And QBR, it's, quarterback rating, whatever. But he's first in that too. All he does is win. And no, he's not doing it like the Tebow way, where all he did was win. He's doing it being a significant factor. The dimes he is throwing to Ayuk, to Debo, to Kittle, the command of the offense, the attention to detail. Brock Purdy, ladies and gentlemen, this guy's for real. When will you start believing? Oh, the Cowboys, they weren't a good team. They're 3-1 heading in. And one of the best point differentials in the league. Yeah, they lost to Arizona. Okay. But yes, after this game, you should come away thinking the Niners are a tier better than them. And that outside of maybe 2 teams, they're on their own tier. It's them, the Eagles, if you want to toss the Chiefs in there, the Lions maybe, but I'm not putting the Lions in there. That's why for me, I'm already looking ahead to December 3rd. I know you can't do that on October 9th, but I'm looking ahead. December 3rd, where we may or may not be in a new building finally. We're waiting. Apparently, it's going to be this week. Apparently. So you'll see this mug. I think we're doing Zoom. I'm not sure. Or we'll figure it out. But we'll be up live and streaming there in the new building. Can assure you that. We're live and streaming right now all day up until 7 o'clock. Yeah, you got to tune into 6. Best of the Game with Mark Grandy. Come on. Twitch and YouTube powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Just search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe there. And also 888-957-9570. Call or text the Comcast Business Text line. Just getting off work, getting ready for work, getting ready for the day. It is a holiday for some. For others, it is not. The missus does not have this day off. I was like, what? Is it a state holiday? Yeah, they didn't recognize it. Formerly Columbus Day? Indigenous Peoples Day now? Is that what it is? All I know is The Sopranos have the funniest Columbus Day episode, maybe in the history of television. If you haven't seen it, I urge you to. Or at least just look up the clips talking about Columbus Day with The Sopranos. All time. All time. I think it's on my Twitter. I'll retweet it today. Sorry, X. Follow me on X, at Spadoni_Joe, and you can find it there. Speaking of finding something, people were trying to find where George Kittle was this season. Oh, he was so quiet. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. All he did was, score 3 touchdowns.
32. Purdy got a block for his end zone hat trick. Kittle's first 3-touchdown game of his NFL career.
Mike Tirico on the call there again, NBC Sports. George Kittle, the first 3-touchdown game, which is kind of hard to believe, of his NFL career. Here's Kittle after the game talking about the last time he had a 3-touchdown performance in any football game?
That was my first one. Yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah, I mean, I was a hell of a 7th grade running back. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, running back and defensive end. I had a lot of sacks as well. But, yeah, no, it's been a minute. But it's always fun.
That sounds frightening as a former 7th grader that played Pee Wee football. George Kittle as a running back and a defensive end. Yeah, I'm out on that. Yeah, I'm good, coach. I hurt my finger. I can't go in. Here's more on George Kittle talking about his quarterback being locked in.
I think Brock's always on. Like I said, when you see him on Wednesday, he's on. You know, it's the first day. We get like 100 first and second down passes and 50 runs. And he knows all of the cans. He knows how to change the play. He does everything. So he's just so prepared every single day.
George Kittle yesterday, stat line, he had 3 receptions, 67, 3 touchdowns. He had that long 38-yarder. And here he is finally talking about his chemistry with Purdy and chatting it up with another Niner great tight end, Vernon Davis, who was at the game yesterday.
You know, just being able to practice with him and his consistency is what's really helpful. Also, being able to see Vernon pregame. I think he told me to score 3 to tie his record. So I was like, fine, Vernon, I'll do it. I'll tell Brock. No, Brock's just so consistent every single day. He's the same guy he is on Wednesday as he is on Sunday. He's super detailed. He's super confident. It's everything you want in a quarterback. And he's just playing at such a high level right now. And I think really what the best thing he does, you guys see it, he's just his ability to move in the pocket and keep his eyes up and see things develop. And so if he doesn't hit you like, where he's supposed to, he sees the second window. He's just very, very good at that.
Very, very good at that. 888-957-9570. It's starting to get into the territory, and it's early. I get it. But you know what? They have the look and a feel of a Super Bowl team. They just do. You saw it early last year with the Philadelphia Eagles. That had the look and feel of a Super Bowl team. The 49ers have that look. They have that feel. They have a head coach who's been there. They have many players that have been there. And I think they have the quarterback now that takes them over the top. I'm not going to say think anymore. I know this is the quarterback that can take them over the top now. That's Brock Purdy. Is there anyone that still doubts this kid? If you are, your name is Steven Ruiz of The Ringer, right? Steve, how's that take looking?
I'm sorry. I watched the film and he's not doing anything. He's running the offense well. And I get the argument that he's a good quarterback for this system and he's the right quarterback for this system. And then I get yelled at when I rank him 25th. Here's my thing. I'm ranking these quarterbacks not based on their suitability for the Kyle Shanahan system. I'm ranking them based on what they would do in a normal offense, like a league average offense. And if we put Brock Purdy in the league average offense, this game isn't going to lead to top of the league results. The play that made me lose my mind this week was he threw a pass downfield to Brandon Ayuk.
The play that made me lose my mind this week was that double reverse pass to George Kittle. It was funny. Bonte Shasky and I were talking shop in this last break, and Bonte and Shasky are going to be on here in about, T-minus 9 minutes. Start lining them up, 888-957-9570. Call or text, 49ers 42, Cowboys 10. Monster Monday here at 95.7 The Game. But how could you watch that yesterday and be like, how could you watch that game yesterday and still feel like Brock Purdy's not that guy? That's what we're talking about. And also, it is funny how we're all going nuts that we've never seen a double reverse pass before. We've seen those before. It's not the first time it's ever been done. People go nuts about it. But I get it. It's Sunday Night Football and it looked cool. We love trick plays. That's why. I'm a sucker for a trick play. I would like to see more of them. That's why I'm so damn jealous of this offense. Everyone is. This is that offense you wish you had on your favorite squad. If you don't have Patrick Mahomes, you want this offense. You do. Hell, even with Patrick Mahomes, I'm sure Patrick would love to play in this offense. The luxury of a Christian McCaffrey, a George Kittle, a Brandon Ayuk, a Deebo Samuel, and Juwan Jennings if you want. Jordan Mason, by the way. Be remiss if I don't mention Jordan Mason, 57 minutes in his program. My God. A 1-2 punch there. Bully ball. And it was so apparent just comparing the two running games last night. And I don't even think the 49ers, rushed all that well. They didn't. Just look at the stats. But it still felt like they were bruising that defensive line of the Dallas Cowboys, so much so that the wear and tear was too much and the floodgates opened. The Cowboys defense was keeping them in that game for a little bit, but it was the boneheaded mistakes early. I thought that Deebo Samuel catch, and they ruled it incomplete pretty quick, but I thought he fumbled. It didn't matter anyways because the player, I think it was Curse, was offsides, so it didn't matter, but I think they reviewed that, and it looked like he took a step, and it was a football move, so it doesn't matter. It's all moot at this point, but that's a play that could have changed the game early on. There was a couple, what was it, the forced fumble, then there was the weird Christian McCaffrey ball straight. It was just a lot of weird turnovers early on, but the 49ers, they could capitalize on their mistakes, and that's what good teams do. They make it hurt. And the Cowboys, they couldn't do that. Dak looked unsure of himself. He looked passive. He looked like he had happy feet, or the opposite of that, which is just holding onto the ball forever and never getting rid of it. I don't know what it is. Does Dak still think he has the athleticism he did 3 to 4 years ago? It sure felt like that watching the game. Or did he just underestimate the speed of the 49ers linebackers? Whatever it is, he just doesn't have that speed to get away from guys like Dre Greenlaw or Fred Warner. He doesn't have that in his game anymore. And if he's not athletic and he's not going to take chances over the top, you're not beating this 49ers team. You're just not. And that's what I'm looking at when I look at the landscape of the NFC. Like a Jalen Hurts, he can cause some problems. Again, December 3rd, I'm circling it. 2 months from now, cannot freaking wait. How's that not a Sunday night football game, by the way? That's pretty freaking wild. It's pretty freaking wild. You know what's not wild? Oh, actually, it is, but in a good way. The Morning Roast. That's coming up next. Bonta Hill, Joe Shasky. 49ers 42, Dallas Cowboys 10. How about them? San Francisco 49ers.
Hi, hater. Hi, hater.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.